everybody. Thanks for joining me for tonight's forecast. We're going to take a quick look here to start at the current weather, and then we're going to talk mostly about a storm that might hit us this weekend that unbelievably may give us some snow to go with the rain. I'm sure most of you, it's funny, I start forecasting every night and with an attempt to get away from forecasting just about snow, and the weather just does not want to let that go. So, but first, let's take a quick look at what's going on weather-wise. Our high temperature at my house today, 57 again. If you've been with me on these full sun days, that's probably not really what we got to. We're probably in the low, more like a low 50s today. This morning, I only had 37 at my house. I'm sure. I was a little surprised. I didn't dip any lower than that last night. I think tonight we'll get a little cooler than that. I think there's a pretty good chance at frost. I mentioned that last night, so it's probably worth trying to take in any of that kind of, if you've got anything out already, if you've got any plants out already or anything like that, taking them in. We haven't had any rain for the last few days, and the weather pick of the day, I mowed part of my lawn for the first time today. That's a spring picture there as some of those grass clippings. It smelled nice. It's nice to mow the lawn. All right, so what's the weather looking like? So basically what's going on here is we're under this high pressure system that's kind of slowly been settling over the top of us. Actually, it's kind of been reinforced by this trough. And cold air, big time cold air for this time of year in northern and eastern Canada. And we're going to continue to tap that. It's going to continue to kind of flow down through here and become a trough over the east coast. Right now there's a storm over the central part of the country. We'll show you that on radar because that's going to show it up a lot better. You can see that there is quite a bit of moisture actually here, kind of strung out from the Dakotas all the way east and kind of along this front here, all the way east heading off near Washington, D.C., Virginia, that area, kind of heading off the coast. Now, the first batch of precipitation with this storm is mostly going to miss us. All of this is going to kind of eventually consolidate and become a storm off the coast. Which is then going to head up to sea. But that's going to head out to sea far enough away from us that really the only thing we're going to potentially get from that would be some clouds maybe on Saturday, or I mean, excuse me, not Saturday, sorry, clouds on Thursday, Wednesday, tomorrow afternoon into Thursday. And then that'll quickly move off, and it's actually the next storm, which let me show you that on the satellite view. You can just barely see it. If I reach way up over here, over my head here, you can just barely see this storm starting to come on shore, the Pacific Northwest, actually into kind of the Canadian Rockies. That's going to ride over the ridge that's been out, big time in charge out west, which has been one of the reasons we've had our East Coast trough. It's going to go over the ridge and it's going to reemerge and it's going to tap the moisture, or the cold air in Canada, come across and potentially give us a coastal storm Friday night into Saturday. And which potentially could give us some interesting weather for almost May 10th. Let's look at that on the week ahead to kind of talk through what that's going to mean. Tomorrow, the only thing kind of to keep in mind really is that there's a frost potential in the morning, so keep an eye on that. Lows will be around 30 probably tomorrow. It'll be similar today, maybe a degree or two warmer in the afternoon. We could have a few clouds starting to move their way in for Wednesday. It'll be mostly cloudy Wednesday night into Thursday, but then not sunned, oh my goodness, I need to work on my spelling, will develop in the afternoon, and high temps will be in the lower 50s on Thursday with those clouds kind of cutting back on temperatures a little bit. Friday, things start to get a little more interesting. Clouds and a sprinkle in the morning. They'll give way to a brief, we're going to, believe it or not, there's a bit of a kind of cold front moving through. That'll be the sprinkles in the morning, and then we get sunny before clouds start to move back in after dark, or maybe even a little bit before dark on Friday night. And then timing is a little up in the air with the Friday into Saturday storm. But that storm that's going to make its way all the way, it's still offshore, so there's still plenty of time for some change. But rain and even some snow. The snow would probably be mostly overnight Friday, like as the sun starts to come out on Saturday. We're well into May now. It's very unlikely that we'd see snow, or at least accumulating snow, during the daytime on Saturday. But it is possible still Friday night. This will be elevation dependent. There's still a ways to go. One of the models has it out to sea. Let's hope for that. A couple of the other models definitely have it hitting us. And they are putting out some accumulating snow, which I know is like so far beyond the last thing you want to hear. But anyway, Saturday will not be a nice day. Even if it's rain, it's going to be rain, and high temperatures are going to be maybe near 40. like I said, maybe some high elevation snow, maybe even some snow in the valleys. We will keep a close eye on that. It'll be breezy as well. There's a freeze possible Sunday night, so if you're thinking about planting any gardens, don't do it until after the beginning of next week. We could have lows in the upper 20s on Saturday night into Sunday. Monday, we're still kind of cloudy as we're in the wake of the storm with temps in the upper 40s. It's going to be, the wind will be dying down a little bit, and then Tuesday, another storm kind of approaches us, which will give us clouds and maybe a chance of rain. Temps in the upper 40s. There is light potentially at the end of the tunnel. I know this is not an exciting forecast right now, but there is light at the end of the tunnel. Most of the long-range forecasts beyond the middle of next week do really start to warm us up, and not just for a day or two, but it looks like we might get into a warm pattern. So if you can hold out for one more week, I know that seems like we've been holding out with this pattern forever, but if you can hold out for one more week, hopefully that weather really will improve and things will get better. Again, I'm doing this each night during the month of May, so that partially so that we can raise some money for Neighbors Pantry. So if you want to help participate in that, you can do that by becoming a patron of mine, and you can visit the Patreon account there that you see on the screen, or you can, if you want to see more about what all that entails, I've got a video on the homepage of my website, which is right there in the page as well. You can go visit that. Thanks for all your support in this, and if you just continue this month as a patron, that's awesome, and that money will go to the food pantry. If you want to continue being a patron after that, that'll be great too. That'll help me to improve the quality of my forecasts and hopefully make them a little more often. All right, everybody have a good night, and we'll see you tomorrow night.